biggest show they've ever had in this burg. 48 most beautiful girls in the world. 48 of them. Man, what a collection of honeys. Great time for a bunch of rich playboys. People keep staring at me, and there, an old man. He's looking at me as if he actually owned me. I can't help feeling those eyes everywhere. I feel them looking through the window when I'm in my room. Something horrible tried to come in the window. Get me! Chapter 2. Horror begins. At almost the exact moment the girl ran screaming out of the ladies' room of the Gaiety Club, another girl, also one of the 48 beauty contestants, hurried furtively out of the side entrance of a small hotel. She was small and dark, with eager eyes. She had a date, but had been forced to wait until her chaperone had gone to sleep to keep it. She didn't take a cab. The appointed spot where her swain was supposed to meet her wasn't far. She started to walk down the side street away from the boulevard, and then along another, still darker street. "Oh, I hope he waited," she breathed fervently to herself. "I didn't think it would take so long." Her thoughts were all on the man she hoped to see. She didn't even glance around, so she wasn't aware of the hunched form which glided from an alley and began to follow her, narrowing the distance between them with each silent step. She was just a young kid, aching to be with a man who intrigued and fascinated her. Not knowing that he was at the Gaiety Club, had never, in fact, intended to keep the date with her himself at all. She was nearly at the end of the darker street now. Her heart was beating more rapidly. Her cheeks were flushed with anticipation. It was just around the next corner where he had promised to be waiting for her in his car, near an open lot. She wondered if she should let him kiss her right off, or if that might make him lose respect for her. Perhaps she had better be more demure. And then, suddenly, through her absorption, she had a vague, uneasy feeling, a quick sense of nameless fear. With a cold chill prickling along her spine, a tightness in her throat, she cast a searching glance over her shoulder. Her breath stopped coming completely when she did. The cold chill prickling along her spine became an icy numbness over her whole body. She tried to scream, but her throat was now so constricted that only a pitiful little whimper worked through. Something with a ghastly, inhuman face was leaping for her. Also, at almost the exact moment the girl ran screaming out of the ladies' room of the Gaiety Club, and the moment the poor girl who had been so eager to meet her supposed lover had sneaked furtively out of her hotel, another pretty girl in a different part of the city was stepping into a cab. She, too, had been one of the 48 contestants in the beauty contest Joan Wendell had won that afternoon. She was the country type, healthily buxom, with a round, frank face. She wasn't alone. With her was a young man, obviously as much from the country, whose love was in his eyes. They had just come from a drugstore where, now that the need for abstinence was over, the girl had been eating ice cream. The young man gave the cab driver the name of a hotel. "You should have won, Mary," he repeated for the 20th time as the cab rolled off. "Gee, you were by far the prettiest girl here." The girl smiled, indulgently, sweetly. "But I guess there was some politics," the young man continued. "I guess the whole thing was fixed. The contest was run by newspapers, and this Wendell girl works on one." He gave a little shrug of his burly shoulders. "That is, she did. I suppose she'll go into the movies now." The girl was still smiling. There appeared to be no envy about her. "Joan Wendell's awfully pretty," she said. "Well, anyway, I'm glad you didn't win," the young man told her. He shook his head. Gee, I guess you never would have wanted to marry me if you had. Just a farmer. You would have wanted to go into the movies. Silly, the girl said. Of course I'd have married you just the same, but I knew I never would win. I can't see how I won the state contest. Well, I do, the young man told her. He gazed at her fondly. By this time, the taxi had taken them from the drugstore on the brightly lighted boulevard to a darker section of narrow, twisting streets. Then it careened off one of them into a lower part of the waterfront. Hey! The young man noticed suddenly where they were. Hey, driver, I said That was as far as he got. The cab braked to such an abrupt stop that the rest choked in his throat. The driver swung out onto the street, turned. From a dark doorway slouched two misshapen figures. The young man lunged forward, twisted the cab door open, beginning furiously. What's the devil's the... And then, just as he leaped down from the running board, he saw the driver's face. His breath caught. For a second he stared numbly, incapable of further movement. That second was enough for the driver and one of the two creatures who had slid from the dark doorway to glide to the back door. The creature grabbed the young man's arms from behind. The driver sprang forward like an animal, uttering a vicious snarl. Claw-like hands whipped out. Blood gushed from the young man's throat. He slumped into a limp heap there on the pavement. During all this, the poor girl had sat paralyzed, eyes wide with horror. But at last, a little sound began to trickle past her stiff lips, work into a scream. The second creature from the doorway pulled open the other door of the cab and slipped in beside her. He reached for her throat. Joan's face was still pale when she and Kirk finally arrived at the hotel where she was staying with an aunt who had accompanied her to Island City for the contest. She'd been pretty badly shaken by the affair at the Gaiety Club. But, honey, there was nobody in the ladies' room, and they looked, Kirk reiterated for the third or fourth time to her, and there were no signs that anybody had been in there. I know, Joan said, but look, dear, Kirk interrupted persistently. It's up 2 stories. The only way a person could reach the window would be by coming across the alley from the next building, and that's almost inconceivable. Besides, if a man did get over, how could he get back so quickly? No, the girl had been drinking, we found that out, and the liquor inflamed her imagination. Just look how she described the creature she claimed she saw. A face without any features. Good Lord, that proves it was all in her mind. A face without any features, just hideous eyes, Joan mumbled, repeating the whole of the other girl's description. Kirk gave a silent sigh of hopelessness. He had been afraid she'd never get over that bit about the eyes. It tied up too well with what she had imagined herself. Well, tonight's our last night in this place, he told her. He smiled reassuringly. You're so tired you'll soon get to sleep and forget the entire business, and then, tomorrow night by this time, we'll be on our way home and you won't ever have to think of it again. Joan forced a little answering smile. Oh, I know I'm foolish to be so uneasy, Kirk, and to make you worry about me. Just forget it. I'll be all right in the morning. Sure you will, honey, he said gently. They had reached the door of Joan's and her aunt's suite now. Kirk stepped in to say hello to the aunt, a genial woman of whom he had always been very fond, but he stayed only a couple of minutes. Want to give Joan a chance to get to bed, he explained. You see that you get to bed too, Joan said with mock severity. No more of those all-night poker sessions, my fine fellow. Kirk grinned. He was feeling better when he went downstairs. Joan had seemed to snap out of it a little. She was tired, she'd sleep soundly, and in the morning she'd be okay. He hummed softly as he swung through the lobby to the street and hailed a cab. He didn't see the misshapen figure watching him from the shadows opposite the hotel.